Hi, I'm Lou Gallagher.
I'm Corvette Ronnie.
And on today's episode of Men Are So Smart, we're going to take you all the way to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and introduce you to a friend of ours. His name is Danny Lynn, but you know him as the Tiki Man. He runs a network, Ronnie, as you know.
Yep.
Of what we call trop rock. Here on the left coast in California, we kind of refer to it as like surf music, but that doesn't really describe what they do. This is a station that plays music that'll just take you away from all of your worries and all of your cares. It makes you feel like you're sitting on the white sandy beaches. It makes you feel like you're in Key West with the parrot heads. And so we thought we would want to find out more about Danny Lynn and how he got to doing this. And so we present this episode of Men Are So Smart with TikiManRadio.com. With us this morning, joining us from Chattanooga, Tennessee, right?
That's right, the tropics of Tennessee.
Joining us is the one and only Tiki Man of TikiManRadio.com. Good morning, Danny Lynn.
Good morning to you, brother, and good morning to everybody out in California this morning.
Well, we're so glad that we get to spend a little time with you. I know how busy you are. You have a internet radio station, and it's called Tiki Man Radio. Plays something called trop rock. And in speaking with you, you mentioned that the folks here on the left coast don't exactly know what trop rock is. So, Danny, why don't you take a moment and explain that first?
Yeah, you know, trop rock was originally out of the Florida Keys, and you know, it's kind of a Jimmy Buffett style type music, but it has evolved over the years and become a part of reggae and rockabilly and country, and it's got all kinds of roots to it. But it's really what I always say is there's two types of trop rock music. They are the artists that are writing music about being in paradise, and paradise is a state of mind, so it could be anything to you, whatever paradise is to you. And then there's the other side of trop rock where people are writing music about going to paradise. But all in all, it's a happy vibe, happy music, upbeat, enjoy your life kind of type music.
Joining us today is Danny Lynn. He is, in fact, the Tiki Man behind TikiManRadio.com. So, Danny, tell us about the roots of how this internet station began, your trop rock paradise.
Well, I heard an interview one time where somebody told me that, you don't get into radio, you fall into it. And that's pretty much the truth, I think, from my experience. But about 5 years ago, a buddy of mine owned a radio station, and it was called Tiki Island Radio, and we became real close friends. Actually, I've got a tiki bar here in my backyard, so we used to listen to it, and was an avid listener, and then we became part of the show, and so we got to be real close friends, and I've been in business for a long time, and he got into some trouble to where he was going to actually have to step away from the microphone, and so I kind of stepped in and started doing some shows, and I was still in the corporate world at the time, so I was having to do a happy hour show Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, which was a blast. And Wednesday nights we had a spotlight artist night where we would do interviews with the artist and all that good stuff. But anyway, so that kind of went on for about 2 years. The more I invested into the radio station, the more I invested into the equipment. I just decided to launch Tiki Man Radio. Tiki Man, the name Tiki Man comes out of having a tiki bar for 15 years, and people would just say, "Oh, you're that Tiki Man guy," and it just kind of stuck. So Tiki Man Radio was a natural fit for me. Radio is a passion of mine, but certainly didn't get started like, hey, I want to do radio.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, your background is not in broadcasting. How did you know what to do?
Well, like everything else I think in my life, I kind of figured it out as I went. I will say this: when I was about 11 years old, that we had a radio station in Chattanooga called WFLI, Jet Fly, baby, the eye in the sky. And as kids, we would walk through the woods and go over, and they would hand us, people would send in 45s for airplay or whatever, and the ones they didn't play or the extra ones they just threw in a shoebox, and us kids would go over there and get those 45s and go home and pretend like we were DJs. So maybe that's where it started. That's kind of the what everybody thinks or whatever. But been in the corporate world for 25 years and traveling, and radio was the last thing on my mind. But when it comes to helping out friends, friendship is very important to me. So I kind of stepped in, and it was really no different to me than what I was doing in the corporate world, because I was doing, speeches at Marquette University and getting in front of big crowds or whatever. But, for me, it was no different. It was just, hey, let's play some music. And I guess all those years at the Tiki Bar playing music and entertaining people kind of prepared me for that.
So, Danny, tell us how you go about choosing the music, and do people send it to you? How do you determine what gets played on the radio?
Well, we have a ton of music that is submitted to the radio station every week from the Trop Rock family, as we like to call it. Is a lot of independent artists, some of them making their own music, recording their own music, so quality is very important to me. So there's a lot of music that doesn't make it to the airwaves just because it needs to be produced better or the quality's not up to speed. And I've found that artists really appreciate the fact that, you give them that feedback as opposed to not playing their music at all. So every song that's in the station, and there's about 10,000 of them, I've listened to every one of them. There's a lot of classic rock in there because it's kind of music a lot of people grew up on. There's some country in there, anything with a beach, a sun, a happy tune. There's not a whole lot of that I loved you, I wanted you, but you left me anyway music, so yeah. But reggae, some blues. I was always a big blues man. Jazz man. I should go down to Blues Fest down in New Orleans, and so it's a mix of music. It's not just trop rock. We call it Trop Rock Paradise, your Trop Rock Paradise. And that just means that you're going to hear someone like a Key West Chris down in Key West, a good friend of ours, an artist on the station, right alongside some Kenny Chesney.
All right, so let's see, Danny. When people tune into TikiManRadio.com, what is it that you give them? What do they get when they listen?
I've done tons of interviews in magazines and stuff, and people always, what is trop rock and what is it you do? And I think it really goes back to escapism. I think it's, you're having a bad day, you're in a traffic jam, all those years of traveling, I can certainly relate to being in airports and meetings I didn't want to be in. So it's really escapism, taking you somewhere that's sunny, that's, it's not always about, a margarita on the beach kind of thing. But it is taking you to a place that you want to be, and escapism, whatever that is in your mind. That's what we try to portray to the world. It's taking you somewhere happy. Your
Sunday morning show is extremely popular. I understand it's heard in 28 different countries. How long have you been doing that?
It's actually a 3-year running show. It is amazingly popular, and I think it has a lot to do with social media. It's very interactive. People come over to the Facebook page, they say hi, they become a part of the show, and they become characters of the show, like Verona Corona up in Canada, and it is really cool. We just broadcast down in Key West this past November, and Verona Corona traveled all the way from Canada to come down and see us and hang out with us down there. So it's really nice when it all comes together like that, but I think it's what makes it so popular is that if you're in Kansas City or you're in Kentucky or Vietnam, we've got people listening in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. We're giving them shout outs on the radio, and they become part of the show, and they like to hear the name on the radio, and we like for them to be a part of our family, so to speak.
All right, Danny, look, on Men Are So Smart, we like to play this little game. It's called This or That. We give you two things, and you got to choose one of them. For sure, you got to choose one of them. And so this is a way we can get to know you on a more personal level. And I'll play along with you, too. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, first up on This or That. Bacon or sausage?
Bacon.
I'm bacon. Give me bacon, but I want it crisp. In the morning, coffee or Bloody Mary?
Both.
I knew it. Think carefully. You got to choose one.
I know. I don't care. Bloody Marys. We have a lot of Bloody Marys, and we have the Sunday show or whatever. But I have to start every morning with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, me too. I'm not really much into tomato juice, although I know you said your mom makes the tomato juice that you use in your Bloody Marys. I heard that.
Yeah, Mama's Mater juice is what we call it. She's been making it for about 40 years, and it's fabulous.
57 Chevy or 69 Camaro?
Definitely Chevy.
Okay. Baseball or football?
College football.
That's what I was going to ask next, college or professional. All right. Blonde or brunette, Danny?
Definitely blondes. They have more fun.
Me too. I've really only dated two girls that weren't blondes in my whole life.
Yeah, I've been a creature of habit myself.
Whiskey or tequila?
Ooh, probably whiskey.
Well, I regrettably went to tequila last night after I got off the phone with you. I'm feeling it this morning.
Well, I've had my experiences with tequila, so it scares me. That's why I go to whiskey now.
I know. I can remember one. I choose not to go into that story here, though. Crab or lobster?
Definitely lobster.
I'm going to Red Lobster for dinner tonight, and I think I'm going to have crab.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I like them both, but, if I have to choose lobster.
How about this? Crawdads or oysters?
Oysters. Oysters and beer, baby.
I think I'll go oysters on that one. I'm not big on crawdads. You gotta bite their head off and suck their guts out, right?
Yeah. This is a lot of work.
Maui or Mexico?
Mexico.
Oh, man, I'm going to Maui. Yeah, it's much more peaceful there.
I can get to Mexico quicker, I think.
That's right. You're down there in Tennessee. Okay, here's a tough one. Lingerie or naked?
Naked all the way.
I'm on the fence on that one. I'll go lingerie, just to be different. Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, Danny?
Probably Wheel of Fortune.
What is Jeopardy for me? And finally, and this is a tough one. I want you to think about this one, Danny. I'm not quite sure how old you are, but I think we're about the same age. Jennifer Aniston or Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, wow. I'm going Jennifer Aniston all the way. Yeah, she's my exclusionary woman at our house. If she were to come knocking on the door, it's me, Jennifer Aniston. I'm here for Lou. My wife would go, well, it was a nice run.
Well, yeah, I mean, one day Stevie Nicks is going to show up, and her and I and Meg Ryan are going to live together in sin on an island somewhere.
Selling coconuts on the beach, Danny. I can see it already.
That's right.
All right, buddy. Listen, let's talk about real quickly. I'm running out of time. Let's talk about your two artists that you would recommend people in California listen to that are trop rock.
Two artists. Well, probably, let's see here. Recommend. There's so many good artists out there. I hate to recommend just one or two, but we actually have, I mentioned Key West Chris earlier, and Danny Hoy. I would definitely listen to Danny Hoy and Key West Chris together. They are independent artists, but together they have a band called the Shanty Hounds, and they live in Key West and play music there every day. They actually were able to come up here during the hurricane when the Keys got hit pretty hard with the hurricane. They actually traveled all the way up here to Tennessee and hung out with us for a couple of weeks.
Well, I got to tell you that Corvette Ronnie and I are already thinking of how we can get to Nashville so we can do a couple episodes there and party with you guys.
Yeah, we're over close to Chattanooga, so we're about an hour and a half away from Nashville. But, yeah, I'd love to have you. You guys need to come over to the studio here and hang out.
All right, Danny, your radio station is tikimanradio.com. You're on Sunday mornings, and you're also on during the week.
Trop Rockin' Mornings with the Tiki Man starts at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. And, you know, there's a app. You can go to your app store and download an app to your Android, iOS, or iPad or whatever. You can download TuneIn on your, if you get like one of the smart TVs or whatever, you can download TuneIn on your TV and listen through it through your sound bar. I mean, there's a ton of ways to listen, but a lot of people download the app and take us with them everywhere they go.
Danny, you are my friend, and once you are my friend, you are my friend for life.
Nice. I feel the same way, brother. Glad to have you guys on Tiki Man Radio every Saturday at noon.
We appreciate your generosity in having us on. Danny, I'll talk to you again soon, okay, buddy?
Sounds good, brother.
All right, thanks. Keep on rocking. Trop Rock.
Thank you, brother.
Well, Ronnie, we learned a lot today.
We did.
And we got to play a little bit of this or that with Danny Lynn, which was fun.
Yes. I'm so glad we found this station.
I know.
We're teaming up with them. It's a great station.
It really is.
I love it.
And how he chooses the songs and sets the mood. You know, he actually has some books that he's published that are about his travels over the years and down in the Florida Keys and Carolinas and so on and so forth.
I'll have to get a copy of those.
Be sure and check that out. All you have to do is just go to tikimanradio.com and you'll find everything. Don't forget that you'll hear our show every Saturday morning on tikimanradio.com at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
That's right.
We'll see you next time on Men Are So Smart.